discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to a no run-through review for Spacegate Odyssey. Real quick, the reason why we're doing a no run-through review instead of a run-through is because the game just requires more thinking, so it's not that fun of a run-through to watch. It's very quiet, yeah. But with that being said, I enjoyed this game.
I mean, I did too. It's just what I thought was going on, and then I messed it up, and then I felt like if you fuck up from the beginning, it's like you're a fucked kind of game. Right. But it wasn't that bad, I guess.
Right. I mean, you lost by 5 points.
I think we did some math when we did this one.
Well, with the
and then the whole arrow thing we had.
Yeah. So the predominant. Yeah. So the space does the rules are a little bit wonky, and they don't get me wrong. This game has some issues that I'm kind of foreseeing. But it also has a lot of good things about it. So let's just go ahead and talk about the negatives about the game, because Kat probably has more negatives than maybe you and I do. No. So one of the negatives I had was the rules they're kind of all over the place a little bit. Yeah. Like they explain what the 3 different spots do, like the blue, pink, and green, before they explain how you get modules. On, so it's like, well, how do I move people? But then you have to keep reading the rules to be able to tell you, oh, I go to the white spot to get modules, and then I move to those. So it's just kind of backwards. And then it's also not clear on predominant spots. The way the rules make it look, it doesn't show the icon of like a spot and connecting to that. It just.
Oh, that's right. Siri. Come outside. I forgot you were in here. Come on.
Work.
The predominant spots, it doesn't show that it's like, because if it just showed that picture to show that that's what represents a predominant spot, that would make more sense. But it shows the arrow itself, making it think, oh, that's a spot you place a settler on. But no, like that wouldn't make any sense otherwise. Like that track really wouldn't matter. But so that was one negative I had. Kat, what's the negative from you?
I agree with the rule book thing because I thought I did a good job reading it, but yeah, it was just like so spaced out weirdly and like things that were in one spot. Like I think I glossed over some of the things because I thought that it was useless. Like I thought it was an example, and I was like, I don't remember reading that. Like there was something that you read that I specifically was like, I do not remember reading that, and I did read through the rule book. Yeah.
Now I will say they give a lot of examples in the game, which I think is good. Yeah. But other than that, those are really 2 of the biggest complaints. Otherwise, the rule book's pretty decent.
Yeah. To me, my complaint, the reason that I wasn't having such a great time is it just was slow to me, and I just didn't care for the pacing of it. I didn't have much fun.
Yeah. No, I actually think it's a really good point. This game is very slow because the whole game is about colonizing the planet, so you want to jump on them, but it takes time.
Like building to the point to where you can actually place settlers on the planet takes quite a while to get your engine.
And if you fuck it up.
Yeah, and that's essentially what this game ended up being, was an engine builder, with a little bit of work replacement and area control. So kind of 3 things that I really like, and kind of not 3 things that because you don't care for work replacement.
It's like they're not my favorite.
Yeah. So, but I really like engine building, and yeah, you're right. So the pacing is you get to build your module, you get to build your station, which is essentially your engine, and you need to methodically place whatever they were called, the warp points. God damn it!
No, those are the modules.
No, these are modules, but what are these specifically called?
Oh, I don't know.
They are called airlocks. Thank you. You have to because if you build out with just a bunch of rooms. And it's like, great, it's gonna take me forever to get enough people over to those gates.
Right. Yeah.
And And so yeah, you have to strategically build based off what is available. And that really, quick side note, the production of this game is really good. Like, that came in the game, and I thought that was really, really neat. They didn't have to do that. They could have just, hey, you place these, just in rows.
You just stack your shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so you have those, and you can methodically decide, okay, do I want to get more workers? Do I want to get more airlocks, or do I want to get more gates out? My initial strategy for this game was to get gates as close to airlock. I mean, that's really what you should do in general. Just get gates as close to airlocks as possible. But I wanted to do that early game. So I think I was one of the first to actually jump on a planet.
Right.
And if you don't do that, like in your case, if you fuck up on building early game, you're going to be behind. Like it was, like I think I took over one planet myself. So, but I like that. I like how you have to decide how you want to build your station. But, like you were saying, it's slow, and really at the end of the day, like, you're not going to be doing a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I get to the point where we're talking about slowness. It's like, you place a character on a particular place, you get as many actions as you have characters, same with everyone else. So then your action, now everyone goes around the table and does an action. You do your action, now everyone has to go around the table and do their action.
Yeah.
So that's what made it just felt arduous.
Yeah.
It's also easy to kind of lose track, because there was one
Of your
time where
turn,
like, Seth was like, it's my turn, and I was like, what do you mean it's your turn? Like, because it felt
Yeah,
like
because you have to get, like, whoever's on the spot, it's like, well, you just went. That's why you have a person on top of the thing. I like how everyone gets to go, but yeah, you're right. You do have to go around. But I think if you play the game more, there were a lot of times where you would go somewhere and I'd be like, okay, you don't have to wait on me.
And it's like, I know that mechanic. I've seen it in several games now that I've played with you. Where like one person picks like the main action, and then everyone benefits of like a side action from that choice.
And I always like that. But yeah, it definitely is. Whenever there are times, and this game has it, like the colonizing. It's like, okay, who can colonize? You can. Oh, you also. Oh, I can. Okay, now you do your thing. You do your thing. Now I'll do my thing, and we'll see how the planets play out. And that is part of the strategy, because it's like, oh, if I want to grab the most spots or on a specific planet, I should try to go first, because then I'll get to colonize first. But yeah, like having to wait for everyone to do their turn, especially because in all reality the actions aren't that exciting, because you are having to move through corridors and then get to gates, and then not only that, you have to your people can run out, so then you have to go to a spot to refresh your airlocks. But I do like how it's not like one person per point on the airlock, it's one room. That was nice, because it's like, I'm going to go there for 2, and I'm going to refill 2 airlocks. So I like it, but I also don't like it because it is slow. The game overall is not an exciting game, like in any way. There's no like big like bam, like awesome epic mega action. It's even then you're just kind of grabbing meeples, moving them, and then it's like, oh, I can colonize. Okay, I'll go here. But it's strategic, and it's light. I think it's kind of a light strategy game. A negative that I have, and this is kind of a pretty big one for me, is the fact that not necessarily like where you're placing on the planets. I actually thought that was pretty cool how the planets, like their story kind of made sense to where you place them. I thought that was neat. Like Derek is like, oh, you can decolonize on the light side, then you have enough people to help you, work on the dark side, or this planet's frozen, so you want to colonize around the volcanoes. I thought that was neat. They made a worker placement kind of space area control game kind of thematic in your placements, but I don't like the predominance tokens. I don't like endgame scoring, and I don't like how you lose points for colonization, because none of that really mattered. Like, all your points are going to come from the planets. So, like, you had 7, like, you moved the green all the way up because you had the most green, and that's 7 points.
Right, it's just a little extra,
right.
Little change.
But it's like, in all reality, I never once worried about those. I was like, I wasn't looking around to see, oh, crap, because it's not like, you'd think it'd be 7 points for each. That would be like I'd be fighting you all the time.
Right, but then it'd also be a little disgusting.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, so I mean, they didn't really seem to matter. And then like, the way you build it only hurts you kind of, because you said you fucked up early in the game, but then you literally lost by 5 points, so you were able to fix it.
I don't know.
Well, you did. Like, points show that you fucked up, and then you literally, whereas mine seemed, I thought mine was working out pretty well, and you also had chief engineers. I only had one chief engineer this entire game. So, like, it just showed the effort that you put in worked. I focused on, like, big planets. Like, okay, what's going to net me the most points? So my 2 planets were, Collins got me 7 points for each planet, and then Russell, 7 points for each island. But you spaced out and then, like, only lost by 5 points. Even then, you only lose a point for each open thing, and that's not even, well, okay.
Not too big a deal.
Like, that should hurt you more. Like, if you just willy-nilly just throw tiles out, like, that's like, oh shit, I have 10 open corridors, that's minus 5 points for each or something.
I mean, this terrible monstrosity of a space station that I have.
Yeah, I mean, so, it's just kind of, in a area control, like, point allocation game, I figured endgame scoring would be a little bit more exciting, but it's not. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with it not being exciting. I mean, that's the thing, is I came in biased because you asked me, you're like, did it sound fun? And I was like, no.
Yeah, because if you look at this cover and you're like, oh wow, that looks really neat. Like, the artwork on this is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know who Ludo Not is as a company, but if this is their first game, it's not a terrible game.
Yeah.
But my other biggest complaint is there doesn't seem to be a benefit, and I tested this out, and it worked because I ended up winning. There doesn't seem to be a benefit in differentiating between the 3 colors.
Yeah, I figured that out pretty quick.
Yeah, like, there was no point in me having blue in any
That's
way.
why
I should have just stuck to pink.
Yeah.
And just constantly just jump back and forth between refilling my airlocks and then jumping back to pink, which is kind of what I did the entire time. The only time I really did blue was only just to be a dick and just get, like, the middle spot on the planet. And the only time I ever utilized my green was when you guys used green, and I just happened to have someone there. So it took me a long time, but you guys kept going back to it, so I'm like, hey, I finally can colonize.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had the one that I wanted, the volcano at first, and then I had the bows. That was the second one I wanted. And I had literal, like, big airlocks connected to those. So that's why I kept going to pink. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see why you would ever mess with any other color. Like, I can't envision a strategy. Now, the strategy is probably, oh, if I do multiple colors, then, like, you went green. I thought Kat was going blue, but she didn't. Like, at all. Quit yawning!
Sorry!
It's midnight.
No, it's not.
I tell.
Nope. But it's like, like, the strategy is like, okay, well, I can reap the benefits if you are focusing green, so then I can also utilize green. But that's very slow moving. So,
I mean, just kind of progressive naturally, you know, how we're going to go. I mean, I just kind of started panicking and went full green.
Right. But, I mean, that's kind of the big, I mean, I guess the endgame scoring wasn't my biggest negative. The fact that you have 3 options, but in all reality, you should just go one option, because that's going to reap you the most benefits. Because if someone else goes the same color, then you're also reaping off of that. I don't know. It just made the game a little bit more slow.
It's just like if you're focusing on one spot, I mean, it can, you know, other people moving other places,
right?
You know, you're not getting anything out of that,
right?
And I mean, like, just having like a little bit of each one, like a little side hustle, I guess, like a little 2-person here and there of a different color, just so you're getting a little of that.
Right.
But then at the same time, you need more dudes.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing a lot of dude build, kind of like I was doing.
And I do like how there's 3 different tiers. The highest tier is the gates, and then you have the middle one, which are your upgrades, for you get more workers, and then the bottom one is airlocks. I do like that. Gives you some options. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to test that because I had heard that as a complaint before we played this. And I'm like, okay, I'll see if that pans out to be true, because you guys probably were going to mix. And I did a little bit, but I used that once, and I used blue once, and I basically flooded the board multiple times with just using pink. and I think it panned out pretty well. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think this game needs like an expansion. It needs something to it because I don't envision this game having long shelf life.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be thrilled if you were like, okay, we're gonna play that again. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is unique. Like, I like how you have to manage your people over there, and then the best you do by getting influence up this thing, you actually lose more and more people. So, like, once you get to, like, 3 and 6, you're actually losing engineers off of that, so now you can't do as many actions. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter either, because once you're down to 6, like, the game's almost over. So, and I'm not going to say it was easy to get points, because you had to work to get your build going. Yeah, the engine had to flow really well to be able to jump on the planets. And there's a few more planets, like, in the box. But I think to give this more life, yeah, there's 3 more planets, and they changed, like, depending on how many players. There's a 2-player tile, which is an S, and then that's a 3 or 4 player. But also, yeah, like, there's no player interaction except for that.
Truly. Yeah.
So, and I guess the area control nature of these weren't as, like, cutthroat.
Yeah.
As, like, a worker placement usually is. Like,
just, like, get there first.
Yeah. But even then, it's like Collins going around the planet. It's like, okay, I'm going to place there, and then I can also place here, and then there was really not a whole lot of restrictions except, get there first.
This game is kind of just a jack of all trades. It tried to be a couple kind of different genres and wound up being just a master of none of them.
Yeah,
and
that's a good point. And it does those, jack of all trades, it does them well.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of conflicted, because I want to say I really like the game, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, I don't really want to play it again. I mean, I do, but I don't, because it's kind of boring.
Yeah, it took forever.
It did.
And for as, like, little as you're doing, it just...
Yeah.
It just...
Yeah. Okay. So...
Sorry, you mean where? Where's your guy?
Yeah,
that was
and then after it's like, okay, I finally moved all the way down here, and then, boop, okay.
Yeah, God.
Like, that was it. Like, worker placements, the reason why I like worker placements so much is because you usually get to reap the benefits of what you're doing. And when you place workers, you're like, I'm going to get all these resources, I'm going to spend them, and then I'm going to do this. Engine buildings, in engine building games, like, I absolutely love, because it's like, okay, I'm going to do this section, which triggers this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then now, just boom, and then you get an influx. Oh, if I activate this, then it's going to give me this, and then, like, that's what makes engine buildings really fun. And area control typically is more cutthroat, but, like, you couldn't really block people from doing a whole lot. And it was a point salad game too. So there was you were going to get points.
Yeah.
Like, so it's weird. This game is weird. Like, that's a perfect way to put it. This is a jack of all trades but master of none. So yeah.
Rating time?
Yeah. I mean, unless you guys have anything else to say.
No.
Cool. Kat, we'll start with you because yours is going to be probably the lowest.
I mean, I'll probably give it a 4, just below average. It is definitely grouped in with one of those games where it's like, it's not I'll play it again if somebody asks me. I will play this again if someone begs me, like if they need another player.
Yeah. Yeah. Devin.
Well, I will give it a 6.
A 6?
I will give it a 6 because, I mean, I like the bones of it.
Yeah,
I do.
Right.
I do. I mean, it was like, I mean, at the first I was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Little guys, I need things. I gotta build a thing, move the guys, put them over here,
Yeah.
generate the guys, and then I have to move the guys, and then I'm like, upgrades. I'll make upgrades neat, but then it's inefficient on my spacing on my ship.
Yeah.
So it's a lot going on, which, I mean, I'm like, if I could just get a redo at the beginning, and then I'm like, okay, I'm getting it now. Gates and then get them processed. But yeah, I'll give it a 6 because I mean I wouldn't mind. I try it again. But I'm like maybe 1 or 2 more games.
Right.
And then
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, and I completely agree with what you're saying. I also agree with what you're saying, so I'm going to split the difference, and I'm going to give it a 5.
Fair enough.
I think it's an average game, because you're right, I do like the bones of it, but what drops it for me, because I was initially thinking 6, but, yeah, you're right, all that is actually great, but what's weird is that with this game, what drops it to a 5 is that none of it felt rewarding.
Yeah.
So every time, even when it was all working, because I never felt like I was struggling anyway. So whenever I was doing stuff and I was placing on planets, I was like, yeah, I did that. And engine building and area control and worker placement should always feel rewarding when you're doing the actions that you want. So I don't know. I don't know what they need in this game to make it more, give it some oomph. Maybe like if you place workers on a planet, like something like an event triggers, or just things that happen, like because like points are fine, but at the end of the day, it's like if everyone can just get points, it's like there has to be something else to make you fight for a planet, like that makes us want to fight for Collins. Like besides, I can get 7 points if I go around that, because since you have 3 as an option. It's like, okay, well, he's going to get that one, I'll go for this one. But, yeah, there has to be something else to the game, and I don't know what that is. But yeah. So, that's our thoughts on Space Gate Odyssey. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.